what I'd like to do now is I'd like to go through, what everything is on the KHT14B, where it's situated, so you have an understanding of where to look for and troubleshoot any issues that may come up. So first, let's start with how do we shut the power off and access for service. So the first thing I'd like to do is remove the access panel, and I've already removed the screw that holds this slide-on box on here. I'm just going to slide this out. I've already shut the power off at the main panel. And the first thing I can see in here is at the back I have a main disconnect switch. So this switch right here is now in the off position, and that cuts off all the power for everything forward from here. As I look at this box, the first contactor I see, this is the contactor that controls the 14 kilowatt booster. And beside it, we have the heater contactor, which controls this 5 kilowatt heater. And then beside it, we have the motor contactor, which controls this motor. And then there's an overload on here. And in the overload, there's an adjustment so that you can increase or decrease the heat abilities of the motor. We always keep that turned over full to as far as it will go, to 4 amp. If that should kick out, this reset button would come on. As I move forward, I have two 3-minute timers. These are for our 45-second and 76-second wash cycle. And beside it, I have a 10-second timer, which is for my 3-second dwell, which is also adjustable. And then beside it, a 30-second timer, which is for my rinse, which is set for 12 seconds. These can be adjusted to anything that you wanted. If you wanted to customize a cycle, it would be very easy to do. Also inside this box, you can see we have our matrix of wires that go across the front. And then we have our line, common, detergent, rinse, and 1FU, which is our pilot circuit. And inside here, you'll see that there are fuses for each one of these. And you'll remember in our beginning, when we were showing the operation of the machine, there was 5 fuses that were inside that accessory kit, and that's where these fuses go. Now, if one of those fuses should fail, for example, for the detergent or for the rinse, you would lose the signal there. But if 1FU went down, if that fuse went, you would lose the pilot circuit completely. So if I had no pilot circuit on this machine, that's the first place I would look. If I just move up a little bit, you can see I have a pressure switch. This pressure switch plays a very important role. This pressure switch has a tube that goes to it, that goes down into the wash tank. And what that tube does is, as the water comes up in the machine, it forces the air pressure up into this, and there's 2 contacts inside of the switch. The first contact is to let the heater come on, this one and the booster heater, and the second contact is to shut the fill off. That's its job, and once it's filled up with water, the machine will automatically start into a cycle. And if you select cycle 1, it will go 60 seconds, and cycle 2, it will go to 90 seconds. This little control is a digital control that feeds information for our temperature control on the front of the machine. That's the only electronic part of this. Everything else in here is electromechanical. Okay. So on the front of the front panel of the machine, we have a full schematic of all of the pilot circuit and all of the components that are involved in it, as well as the line drawing for all of the high voltage items, such as the heater and the motor. And they're all here on the front, as well as in the manual.